This is the 2012 depreciation of fixed assets question. Blue Haulage Limited, there is depreciation of 15% at cost per year, and we are told all this information. These are the vehicles that we had purchased before the start date, before this question starts in 2011. We had already purchased 3 vehicles, and that's where we start. As you can see, I have my table lined out here. These are my vehicle numbers. I have 5 vehicles that I have to deal with over the question. There's also an attached refrigerated unit. And I have my cost column put in. I'm going to put in the cost of each of those assets. I also am going to calculate, where necessary, depreciation for every year. And the question starts here, as we can see, in 2007. That's when we purchased the first vehicle. And the question ends, we're looking at 2012. That's the last year we look at down here. So I have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Because the question itself actually starts, as you can see here, required to show the workings for the 2 years 11 and 12. Because the question starts in 11 and 12, I have all of 2007 to 2010 put inside this box here, and I'm going to total it. So I'll have a total depreciation figure worked out up to the start date of the question. Then I will do 2011. I'll also do 2012, and then if necessary we'll look at the last column. So all I'm doing is I'm finding out how much the vehicle cost, and I'm trying to calculate how much depreciation that vehicle had. So let's look at the first one. The first one is vehicle number 1, was purchased at the beginning of 2007 for €50,000. Well, it was 50,000. It's 15% depreciation per year, and obviously we purchased it at the beginning of 2007, so I had it for all of that year. So for cost, I can put in my 15,000. Now my depreciation, 50,000 multiplied by 15%. I've worked that out here to be 7,500. It's going to be 7,500 for 2007, and obviously because I owned it for 2008, 9, and 10 as well, nothing happened. They didn't tell us anything up here about us selling it early. So the depreciation is just going to be cost multiplied by 15%. Cost multiplied by 15% every single year. And that's the depreciation year after year. And I can total that up here to 30,000. Let's look at vehicle number 2. I put vehicle number 2 down here. I'll get to the fridge in a second. Vehicle number 2 was purchased on the 1st of April 2008 for €60,000. So we did not have it for 2007. If I look at 2007 here, there's going to be nothing in for that vehicle. Its cost was 60,000. Therefore, the cost here is going to be 60,000. How do I calculate depreciation for each year? Well, for 2008, I know the cost is 60,000. Depreciation is still 15%, and I did not have it for a full year. How many months did I have it for? I had it for 9 months, 9 full months. So 60,000 multiplied by 15% multiplied by 9 months over 12. Why? Because January, February, and March has already gone in 2008, and I did not own this vehicle. I bought it at the beginning of April. So I had it for the remaining 9 months of the year. So I can work that out to be 6,750. That is my depreciation for 2008 for vehicle number 2. 6,750. Now for 2008. For 2009 and 2010, obviously if I purchased this at the beginning of April of 2008, then I would have it from the beginning of 2009 and the beginning from 2010. So they're going to be a full year's depreciation here. So in order to calculate 2009, 2010, I just do my full cost, 60,000, multiplied by, again, the depreciation at the top. So 60,000 by 15% is going to give me 9,000. It's going to be 9,000 for the first year and 9,000 for the second year. Now my total column, what's my total depreciation at the beginning of 2011? It's 9,000 plus 9,000 plus 6,750. That works out at 24,750. So let's just uncover that here. So I have my total now for vehicle number 2. Vehicle number 3 was purchased here at the beginning of September 1st of the 9th, 2009 for €70,000. So what do? I did not have it for 2007 and I did not have it for 2008. Therefore, I know these figures are going to be blank because I didn't own the vehicle. I cannot have depreciation for those years. So for 2009, the cost is 70,000. So let's uncover the cost. Cost is 70,000. How do I calculate depreciation? It's at 15%. And how many months did I have it for in 2009? I had it for all of the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th month. I had it for the last 4 months of the year. Okay? So I obviously bought this at the beginning of September. So all the way from January to August, I did not own this vehicle. Therefore, I cannot depreciate it for those months. I'm going to do vehicle number 3 here. So the cost is 70,000. The depreciation, as always, is 15%. And this time I had it for 4 of the 12 months. I had it for all of the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th month. That works out to be 3,500. That is my depreciation for 2009 only. So 2009, because I did not have it for the full year, my depreciation here works out at 3,500. For 2010, I obviously had it for the full 12 months, so it's normally 70,000 multiplied by 15%, and I worked that out to be, I think it's 10,500. Those are my two depreciation figures. If I add the two of them up, it comes to 14,000, and that is my depreciation here for 2011 at the beginning of that year. So I've done those 3 vehicles I've given at the top. If you look through the rest of the question, they're going to tell us a couple of different information here. So I'm not going to go into this now, but I'm just showing it so that we can get to the fridge. So for 2011 and 2012, basically, there is a scenario here where vehicle number 1 was traded in against a new vehicle. It tells us that vehicle number 1 had a refrigerated unit fitted at the 1st of the 1st, 2009. So in this little paragraph here, they're referencing something that happened back in 2009. Well, what do I need to do? I need to calculate the depreciation for any asset I owned up to the beginning of this question, up to 2011. So when they tell me that I've owned a fridge back in 2009, I now need to go back and find out how much that fridge had depreciated for 2009 and 10. So the refrigerated unit was fitted at the beginning of 2009 and it cost 15,000. So I put in fridge there, that's obviously my refrigerated unit. It's attached to vehicle number 1. So I am going to put the cost in here at 15,000. That's where I'm showing the cost as normal. I bought it in 2009, so obviously for 2007 and 2008 there is no depreciation for those 2 years. But what about 2009? How do I calculate the depreciation? Well, if we read on a little bit here, it says this refrigerated unit was depreciated by 30% for the first 2 years and thereafter at the same rate as vehicle number 1. And we know that vehicle number 1 and all the other vehicles are depreciated at the rate of 15%. But for the first 2 years here, it's 30%. So this is the cost, 15,000, and it's depreciated by 30% for year 1 and year 2. Well, year 1 is 2009, so 15,000 multiplied by the depreciation rate of 30% is going to work out, I believe, at 4,500. Yeah, 4,500 for the first year. And how do I calculate 2010? So 2009 was the first year, 2010, again I had it for the full year, 15,000 by 30%. It's going to give me the same figure. So the second year also works out at 4,500. The total depreciation for this asset, the fridge, before 2011, I just add up the two figures, and that is going to arrive at 9,000. Now, just to briefly talk through this here, vehicle number 1 was traded in against a new vehicle. So this new vehicle I'm going to call vehicle number 4. But this happened in 2011. This whole vehicle number 1 being traded in for a new vehicle, that happened in 2011. Vehicle number 3 was crashed in 2012 and was traded in against a new vehicle. I'm going to call that vehicle number 5. But again, that didn't happen until 2012. So right now, I've looked at the information from 2007 all the way up to the beginning of 2011, and I know that any other vehicle that I purchased down here is going to have no depreciation from 2007 to 2000 and the end of 2010, because we didn't even purchase these vehicles. The rest of this story here happens from 2011 onwards, these two columns. So therefore, these were the only vehicles or only assets I owned before this date. So I'm trying to find out the total. I need to find out the total depreciation at the beginning of 2011. I'm going to need that for the start of my question later on. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add up these four figures, and it's going to give me 77,750. I'm going to need that when I start my depreciation account. When I start my vehicles account, I'm going to need to know how much my vehicles were, how much at cost were they at the beginning of the question, 2011. These were the four vehicles that I owned at the beginning of the question. I didn't purchase the other two until after. So I need to know what the vehicle figures were at the beginning of 2011. So I simply just add up the four figures above and I get 195,000. This is the four vehicles here added up together is going to give me the cost for this account at the beginning of 2011. And these four figures here are going to give me the total depreciation at the start of 2011. So now I just have 2 years left to deal with. Let's start the whole paragraph here. At the September 2011, vehicle number 1 was traded in for 20,000 against a new vehicle costing 75,000. Okay, so vehicle number 1 was traded in. We have a new vehicle now costing 75,000. This new vehicle is now going to be called vehicle number 4. So I have a new vehicle here, and I'm going to need to find depreciation for that as well. All this happened at the 1st of the 9th, 2011. That means that for the first 8 months of the year, I still owned vehicle number 1 and the fridge. But for the last 4 months of the year, this was sold. So if I need to calculate the depreciation for the vehicle number 1 and the fridge, I only need to calculate it for the first 8 months. Because I had that vehicle and the fridge for the first 8 months until the very beginning of September when they were traded in. So I did not have them for the full month of September, October, November, December. I only had them for 8 months. So I'm going to calculate the depreciation for 2011 for vehicle number 1. And how I do that, I'm just going to do that down here. Just vehicle number 1. Cost as normal is 50,000. Depreciation is at 15%, and I had it for 8 out of the 12 months. That gives me depreciation for 2011 of 5,000. So my depreciation here for 2011 is 5,000. My fridge is the same process. The cost is 15,000. It was depreciated for 30% for the first 2 years, but that was the first 2 years there. That's now gone. 2011 is the third year, and it's now depreciated at the same rate as the other vehicles, which is 15%. So to calculate the depreciation on the fridge for 2011, I take the cost of 15,000. So I'm going to say fridge. So the cost is 15,000. I multiply it by the depreciation rate of 15%, and again, this fridge was fitted to this vehicle. So when I sold the vehicle, I sold the fridge. I only had it for the first 8 months, full 8 months of 2011, but not the last 4. So to calculate the depreciation for 2011, again for this one, I'm going to multiply it by 8 divided by 12, and that's going to give me 1,500 for 2011 for the fridge. So 2011 for the fridge, I can see that it totals up to 1,500. Now, that's my vehicle number 1, and that's my fridge. What else happened? I purchased a new vehicle costing 75,000. So I obviously purchased that on the 1st of the 9th, which means how many months did I have this vehicle for in 2011? I had it for all of the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th month. So this vehicle is 75,000. So vehicle number 4, it costs 75,000. There's depreciation of 15%, and I only had it for the last 4 months, the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th month. So if I multiply this out now, that is my depreciation for vehicle number 4 for the year 2011. So vehicle number 4, I did not own it up until 2011, and the depreciation for 2011 is going to be 3,750. Vehicle number 5 was not purchased until the following year. So all I need to do now to finish 2011 is I need to look at vehicle number 2 and vehicle number 3. I never sold them, so this is my story here for 2011 down here. Nothing happened to these two vehicles, so I can multiply these two vehicles by the normal rate. I had them for the full year, they weren't crashed. Vehicle number 2, normal depreciation 60,000 multiplied by 15%. I multiply that out here to be 9,000. And vehicle number 3, again, they didn't tell us that we crashed it for 2011. So for 2011, I had vehicle number 3 for the full year. Again, cost column here, 70,000 multiplied by the depreciation of 15% is going to give me 10,500. Now I have my 2011 figures put in. I did not own this 5th vehicle for 2011, so there's nothing here either. So now I can total up the depreciation for 2011. I'm going to need that for the depreciation account later on. These will be my P&L figures. This is my 29,750. That's my total depreciation for 2011. 2012. Let's deal with 2012. Well, I sold vehicle number 1 and I sold the fridge back in 2011. Therefore, I did not own them for 2012. So these two figures are blank. You cannot have depreciation for assets that you do not have anymore. I've sold them here. They were sold in the 1st of September 2011, so therefore I did not own them here. My vehicle number 2. Vehicle number 2, there's nothing about it here. I'll come back to it in a second, but they tell us a story here about vehicle number 3. Vehicle number 3 was crashed and traded in against a new vehicle costing 86,000. My new vehicle, 86,000. That's it right here. Vehicle number 5. This all happened on the 1st of April. So the company received compensation to the value of 25,000 and the profit and loss showed a profit of 1,125 for vehicle number 3. I'll get to those last two lines later on, but now I'm just focused on the depreciation calculations. So vehicle number 3, how do I calculate depreciation for vehicle number 3? Well, as normal, my vehicle number 3 cost is 70,000. It was crashed on the 1st of April. So how many months did I have it for in 2012? I had it for all of January, February and March. I did not have it for the full month of April. Therefore, to calculate my depreciation for this vehicle, I have my 70,000 multiplied by 15% multiplied by only 3 divided by 12. I had it for 3 full months, not 4. I had it for 3 full months. If I multiply all that out, it gives me 2,625. Vehicle number 3 has depreciation for 2012 of 2,625. So, and then it was obviously crashed and traded in the beginning of April. On the other hand, the new vehicle would have been purchased on the same date. Therefore, the new vehicle, I did not own the 86,000 vehicle for January, February and March, but I had it for all of the months after that, April to December. So I didn't have it for the first 3 months, I had it for the remaining 9. So vehicle number 5, the depreciation for 2012 is going to be 86,000, its cost, multiplied by 15%, multiplied by 9 divided by 12, because I did not own it for the first 3 months of that year. 9,675. So vehicle number 5 has depreciation here of 9,675. So I've dealt with my depreciation for vehicle number 3. I only had it for 3 months. I've dealt with my depreciation for the new vehicle for 2012 again, because I had that for the remaining 9 months. But what about vehicle number 2 and vehicle number 4? Well, I still own those vehicles, unlike vehicle number 1 in the fridge, which is sold. I still own vehicle number 2, and I obviously still own vehicle number 4 here. Nothing, they don't tell me anything about it, so I have to assume that I own them for the full year, so I calculate a normal full year's depreciation. Vehicle number 2 is 60,000, We had it for 15%, or at 15% depreciation, we had it for the full year of 2012. 60,000 multiplied by 15% gives me 9,000. Vehicle number 4 cost 75,000, 15%. Again, they did not tell me I sold vehicle number 4 in 2012. So for 2012, vehicle number 4 is a full year's depreciation. 75,000 by 15% is 11,250. Again, for 2012, I'm going to look at the full depreciation. I'm going to add all of that up, and I'm going to have a full year's depreciation of 32,550. That's going to be my P&L figure for 2012 in my depreciation account. Very last thing you do is you calculate the total depreciation on any asset that you have disposed of, because you're going to need to find out how much depreciation these assets had when you went on to sell them, when we're calculating these figures down here. So what vehicles did I sell? I sold vehicle number 1 and the fridge. So to get my total depreciation, I just look back here at 2011, my total depreciation up to 2011, 30,000, because that's just all of these figures added together. So I have my 30,000, and I have my depreciation for 2011 and 12. 30,000 plus 5,000 plus 0 is obviously 35,000. What about the fridge? The fridge I had purchased again before 2011, so there's a couple of figures here. I added that up to 9,000, and for 2011 it had depreciation of 1,500. I add these two together, it gives me depreciation for for the fridge of 10,500. Now, because these two are together, because the fridge was fitted with vehicle number 1, I can add the two of these up. I've just done that to the side here, and the two of these add up. Let's see, can I just grab this here? Doesn't matter. I'm just going to, alright, well that's not what I wanted to do. And we are clear here, I would hope. Never mind. 45,500 is the figure. Okay, nightmare. You know what the figure is. It's 45,500. Okay, so you add the two of these things up here, and it's 45,500 is my figure. Finally, the last part here is vehicle number 3. I sold this guy as well. So vehicle number 3 was also sold. I can see here that if I just scroll over here, my vehicle number 3 was sold, and obviously vehicle number 2 or 4 or 5 weren't. So because I sold vehicle number 3, I want to find out what was the total depreciation of this vehicle when I disposed it as well. So the total depreciation here before 2011 is these two figures, adds up to 14,000. So I know my 14,000 here. This is my 2011 figure. This is my 2012 figure. If I add up all these figures, it totals here to 27,125. So these figures here will be relevant for later on. My 45,500 is going to be these two figures added up. That's my total depreciation that I had after disposing vehicle number 1 in the fridge. And my total depreciation after disposing vehicle number 3 is 27,125. The figures that I have in bold are the most important figures. This should be in bold as well, so I'm just going to kind of bold this here. This is my total depreciation for those two that I sold. This is my total depreciation for vehicle number 3, which I sold. This is my total depreciation for 2012 for everything. Total depreciation for 2011 for everything. Total depreciation at the beginning of the question. Total cost at the beginning of the question. And that is how you do a depreciation table.